I think if you sat down with a new client or a prospective client and you said to them, do you know that your broker is not required to put your interest before theirs? I think they'd be shocked.
Brian, is this rule as big a deal as we're making it?
Yeah, this rule is a big deal. Anytime you change the way that it serves investors, or advisors have to change the way they manage their practice, it's a big deal.
Look, I think it's going to have a tremendous impact. This is, I think, the most transformative rule that we've seen in this business, frankly, since the 1970s when ERISA was originally adopted.
I think it's going to have, I think the biggest impact it's going to have is on clients. For clients, it is a real game changer. For many clients, they've had a brokerage account, are comfortable with a brokerage account, and now all of a sudden we're going to go to them and say, we're going to change that.
It's talking about how people really don't like change.
Human nature being what it is, we don't like change. Look at yourself. If you get up every morning, you have oatmeal, and all of a sudden the oatmeal's gone and you have to have your wife's yogurt, it's a bad day because you've had a change.
Clients are confused. We know a lot of our FAs have had conversations with them. They don't understand the need to change.
I'm going to paraphrase. I think Ronald Reagan said this. Sort of the most scary words in the English language are, "I'm from the government, I'm here to help."
I think the establishment of a fiduciary standard is something that we've supported for a very long time. I think all of our advisors, our firm, we believe that it is incredibly important to serve our clients in their best interest.
But unfortunately, we're going to have a best interest standard proposed by the Department of Labor. We're going to have a best interest standard that already exists under the 40 Act that the SEC is in charge of, and we still have our suitability standard for brokerage accounts.
It will be very burdensome to comply with. It will necessarily, I think, increase the cost for firms like Janney to administer that rule. That's going to translate in some form or fashion to our investment advisors and our clients, and it might get to a point, and we're hoping this won't be the case, but it might get to a point where it may be too costly to serve the smaller account.
Yeah, there has been a lot of noise about the negatives of the DOL rule, and there are positives. First and foremost, we believe a fiduciary standard doing what's in the best interest of investors is the right thing. So a rule that helps to create that condition is great. The things you can think about is that it provides clarity. It helps investors better understand what's available and who's acting in what interest. So, when you have things that create transparency, when they have people better understand what they're doing, it actually creates even a higher level of trust between advisors and investors. Those are good things.
The DOL was smart enough to understand that the days of the pension plan and the profit sharing are gone, and now a lot of the decision-making process is on the individual. Well, that's over the past 15, 20 years, that's new. And they're recognizing that the small guy, the individual investor, the unsophisticated investor, needs some protections.
Our advisors oftentimes are serving communities. They're taking care of families, extended families. They want to, sometimes need to serve the smaller investors. So part of what we're doing is to make sure that they have access to the products, the solutions, and the advice so that they can serve those folks. That could be in a brokerage capacity, that could be an advisory, that could be using some of the automation so they can do it efficiently and effectively. But the small investor needs access to advice, and we're looking for ways to enable advisors to deliver it.
So it's always been, in our opinion, that you do well in our business by doing good. And I think that is not yet taken to heart by Wall Street. They're getting there. Almost any business, certainly the financial services business, it takes about 10 times more money to create a new client than to keep an old one. So I don't think they get that it makes good business sense to keep all your clients virtually forever. And you do that by doing the right thing. And ultimately, you end up being more profitable, not less profitable, by doing what's right.
Well, I'm very hopeful that this rule, the establishment of a fiduciary standard, will be a positive, a long-term positive for this industry. I think there are lots of great benefits from that. I think the clarity of a fiduciary standard is something that investors deserve.